Welcome to the walkthrough for the first lesson of the Cold War. To deliver this lesson you will need the lesson resources purchased from our TES shop, you will need this video clip, and you'll also need the Edexcel 9-1 GCSE history textbook. You may also need a pen and paper to make some notes about delivering the lesson, because we're going to use this walkthrough to have a look at the substantive and pedagogical knowledge that you will need to really make sure this lesson is effectively delivered. So, the title. Within the title we have the objectives, so we're going to have a look really at what the Big Three is, how they came together, but we're also then going to look at how the Big Three then took on Hitler. There are 3 do-now questions here. The way that we sequence our curriculum at HSA is that we study Weimar and Nazi Germany, and then we have a look at the Cold War. So this lesson really acts as a bridge between the 2 courses. So there are some questions here, feel free to adapt, but these really hark back to the Weimar and Nazi Germany unit, and of course look ahead to what's going to happen within this lesson too. With all of our lessons, there's a timeline. You can print this off. Our first inquiry is a 6-lesson inquiry about the development of the Cold War, about how it was established. This slide here could be printed off, and it's a really good kind of aid memoir about the different events that they're going to come through within this first unit. Okay, and now we reach the explain section. I'd print off the notes section, give it to the students. As you go through the talk, they can jot down some of the key staging points here. So this is the knowledge that you need. Effectively, in 1941, UK is fighting Germany alone. We're very much on our own, kind of finest hour, all of that stuff. 1940s just happened, and Hitler then makes 2 big mistakes in 1941. The first mistake is in June 1941, he invades the USSR, and we have a quote here which kind of very nicely reveals Hitler's arrogance. He believes that the USSR is a very, very weak link, and he'll be able to take it over in no time at all. By the end of 1941, it's pretty obvious that actually that's not the case, and so the Germans start being bogged down in the USSR. Hitler was already at war with the largest empire in the world, the British Empire. Now, by the end of 1941, he's also at war with the largest country in the world, the USSR. To make matters worse for Hitler, he also decides to declare war on America. So the Japanese bomb Pearl Harbor on the 8th of December 1941. As an act of solidarity from Hitler, he declared war on America to support his Japanese allies. So by the end of 1941, Hitler is at war with the largest empire, the largest country, and the largest economy in the world. Really, by the end of 1941, it's only a matter of time before World War II is lost by the Nazis. And then we have the formation of the Big Three. So beginning in 1942, there's a grand alliance. Grand in the sense of large, because they are the 3 largest countries at what they're best at. So the Americans are the biggest economy, the Soviets are the biggest country, and Britain has the biggest empire. And they come together to form an alliance. They have one thing in common, which is they are all at war with Nazi Germany. So the Big Three meet at 3 different conferences. Today we're going to explore 2 of them. This is the first one. They first of all meet in 1943 at Tehran. These are the Big Three. We have Stalin on the left, we have Roosevelt, President Roosevelt, FDR in the middle, and we have Winston Churchill on the right hand side, the 3 most important members of the Big Three. And these are some of the key agreements that are reached at Tehran. So Britain and the USA would open a second front. The first front was the USSR coming in from Germany's east. Stalin wanted Britain and the USSR to invade Europe from the west, hence a second front. The USSR would also support America by declaring war on Japan, and an international body would also be established to oversee world affairs. We know that as the UN. There were some disagreements that started to manifest itself at Tehran. First of all, there's a bit of a disagreement about the future of Germany. Should it be divided up? Should it be occupied? Should we punish it like we did at the end of the First World War, the Treaty of Versailles? There are question marks over what's going to happen to Germany. There's also a question mark over the future of Poland. Whoever controls Poland actually controls the invasion route in and out of Europe and the USSR. So control of Poland is crucial because effectively Napoleon invaded through Poland in 1812. In the First World War, the Germans had used that particular invasion route, and of course Hitler has also used the invasion route of Poland in order to invade the USSR in 1941. So control of Poland is a real hot potato issue. And 6th of June 1944, we have the promised Second Front. So D-Day is the invasion of Europe from Britain, and here we have a very famous photo of one of the landing craft on Normandy beaches. And this right here is a really important case study because this just shows Stalin that Britain and America can be trusted. In particular, Roosevelt and Churchill can be trusted. Their word is good. Stalin has a second front. He can trust those particular leaders. And here's a situation by 1945. This is around about sort of April 1945. We have Britain and America fighting Germany from the west, and we've got the USSR advancing in on the east. And they meet again at Yalta. February 1945, we have the same leaders, looking a little bit grumpy this time, a little bit cold. These are some of the key agreements: that Germany would be split in 4 and would pay reparations, and the USSR would join the war against Japan. There is still a disagreement about the future of Poland. Should there be free elections? Should Stalin, whose soldiers have had to go through Poland in order to get to Germany, keep hold of it? Or should we revert back to the borders before 1939? There are real question marks here, and there are real kind of squabbles and arguments. So the Yalta Conference is really important because, again, we got this hot potato issue of what's going to happen to Poland. It's very clear by February 1945 that the war is going to finish very soon. Okay, there is an opportunity, therefore, to play the video. You'll find it in the playlist in the YouTube playlist for this particular unit. Just a word of warning, it does recount scenes of the Soviet invasion of Germany. I would watch it beforehand to check the maturity of your students. I would also give a warning before you play it that it does recount scenes of rape. The scenes that are shown are not graphic, but it does have some survivor testimony which is quite harrowing, so please use it with caution. However, it is a very useful case study to talk about the aggression of the Soviet soldiers, but also typically about how the Soviets go about actually invading a country, because that's going to be a useful template for the fear that we're going to see in Hungary, in Czechoslovakia, when the Warsaw Pact is triggered, because there's this constant fear that when Russian soldiers go into a country, they effectively do bad things to the population. And this is the winning of the war right here. This is meeting at the Elbe, so this is the American GI and the member of the Red Army shaking hands, meeting. This is really the high point of the Grand Alliance right here. And this is the Battle of Berlin. And on the right hand side we see Soviet soldiers raising the red flag of communism over the Reichstag. Berlin, as you can see, has been completely destroyed. Okay, now we go into the explore task. So this is the kind of discovery learning aspect. So there's a pack of information within the TES download, and effectively the students read through the 2 details of the conferences. They can make a grid such as this one, or you can even download this and kind of put it into a Word document and print it off. And that right there will give some really useful information about the 2 conferences that you've already explained, but also give you some really important information about the impact on relations between the big 3. So that's the lesson. Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. There's also a homework task. Depending on the Cold War textbook you want to use, I've left it blank for you to put the page number in, but this sheet here is pretty useful in order to summarise the key differences between East and West, between America and the USSR. So a little bit of consolidation homework there. As I said, feedback would be greatly appreciated. Please do leave a review on our TES shop to tell us how the lesson went, and we're open to feedback. We're open to making changes for the future. Thank you very much.